Hi all, hope you are well. Welcome to this video. In my last video, I mentioned what you should do in your first week as an international student in Australia. In today's video, I'm going to tell you what you should do in the second week. Now, I have made the assumption that you have followed my suggestion in my previous video about what you should be doing, and therefore I'm recommending what you should do in the second week. Just in case you have not seen my previous video on the similar topic, I'd like to say a few things about myself. Like many of you watching, I also came to this beautiful country as an international student, finished my studies, made Australia my home, and have been working and living here ever since. Please watch this video until the end. In the description section of the video, I have added some links, and the same content I have produced in an article too, so you can utilize it. I will appreciate any feedback because that will help me produce better content next time. If you think my video has been useful, please like it. And I want to stay connected and share my stories with you, and I also know about your stories, so please subscribe. Now back to our key discussion points for today, what you should be doing in the second week in your stay in Australia. The first topic I would like to discuss is about your banking arrangements. So if you have followed my suggestion last week and have opened a bank account, so I am assuming you have received a bank card by now. Now the bank card is known in many other names. Some call it key card, some call it just bank card. It's basically a card with your name on it. There is a number on it too, and it allows you to withdraw money or pay for your transactions. The first thing you need to do is activate this card so you can start using it. You can activate this in a number of ways. You can either go to a branch of your bank, or you can call, there is a number on the back of the card, you can call that number. They can help you activate the card, or you can use internet banking to activate this. Now, if you have not learned internet banking as yet, I recommend that you learn it. It's very easy. You can just attend a branch of the bank who you bank with and ask them to show you. They will show you. It is actually a very important thing to know internet banking, and trust me, it will make your life a lot easier. Another thing I recommend you to consider is you can ask the bank, like if they have any interest bearing account for you. In that case, you can put most of your cash in the interest bearing account, so you can earn some interest on it, and you can put some money in the transactional account. And it's actually quite helpful because you can keep transferring between these two accounts using internet banking. Another thing is, if you have already got your tax file number or TFN, we usually often refer to tax file number as TFN in Australia. You might consider advising your bank of the TFN. What that will do is it will save your account from being charged the TFN withholding tax. Another important thing is in relation to banking, safety never takes a holiday. So follow the safety advice about your banking information that you receive from the bank staff members. In addition to this, never share your card number or PIN number or any other banking details or your date of birth or address with any person that you don't know. And then there are two common forms of fraud that I have seen, like that's from my experience. One is you might receive a letter or an email saying that you've won millions of dollars in a lotto, and therefore they will ask for your bank account details so that they can transfer you the money. The other one is usually in the form of a voice message. It comes with a threat. They will tell you they are from a government department. They have issued you an arrest warrant against your name, and you should call a specific number and give them your details. Do not give in to those fraudsters. If you have any doubt, speak to your bank. That is the best way to do. Once you have sorted your banking, the second thing is your private health insurance. Please update your details such as address, mobile number, email, etc. with your private health insurance provider, so they can send you the card into the right to the right address. The card usually have your name and a number on it, and it's very important for you. Make sure you always keep it handy, because when you go for a medical appointment you will need this card with you. It is actually a good idea to take a photo of this card and email it to yourself. In case you lose the card, you still have the number available and you can contact your health fund to send you a replacement. The third thing, which is very important for your day-to-day life, is purchase stationery stuff. For example, notebooks, pens, pencils, erasers, staplers, staples, plastic sleeves. You will need these a lot. In addition to purchasing these stationery items, if you can afford it, depending on how your financial circumstances are, you can also consider purchasing a not so expensive multifunction center, or MFC. What a multifunction center is, it's a combination of a printer, fax machine and scanner. Now this multifunction center is not a must buy. If you can afford it, buy it, because in many cases you might have to print an assignment, or you might have to sign something and scan and email it. Having a multifunction center or MFC at your home is actually, it saves you from a lot of troubles. In terms of where you can buy these stationery items, there are many shops in Australia, but from my experience, Officeworks Superstores is the best place, and there are lots of Officeworks stores around Australia. You can attend any of those and you can buy it from there. Next comes your class schedule. So visit the relevant office of your university or institute where you have enrolled. Find out when the classes will start, when the assignments are due, what the routine is, where you can purchase your textbooks. Now a key piece of task is checking whether your student email ID has been prepared so you can access online learning materials. Once you have sorted out your class schedule, it's important that you know your senior students. Now when I say senior student, I actually mean students who have enrolled into your institute or your university 1 or 2 semesters ahead of you. You can actually get a very good idea from them, like how you should be approaching your studies, how you should be preparing assignments, what you should do if you want to score well. And trust me, this is a very important, you actually get first-hand experience. They can also answer you questions like whether what format is followed in terms of teaching, like is it 2-hour lecture session followed by a 2-hour tutorial session, and how you submit assignment, what are the policies on referencing, where you can get some help if you need help with editing your assignments. So that is something that I strongly recommend that you do. Another thing is you should do to make your living pleasant experience is know your local shops such as grocery stores and chemist shops, etc., and also the local library. For your day-to-day needs, you will be required to buy many things. Obviously, we all need to buy food and other grocery stuffs. So you have to know where those shops are. You also need to have some sort of outdoor entertainment for your well-being. So if you know where your local park is, you can go for a run or you can go for an exercise. It's good for your mental health, and I strongly recommend that you do some outdoor activity so you feel happy. You can go for a long walk or you can go for a walk. You can go for a yoga. You can also do yoga or exercise. Thankfully, we are very lucky in Australia. There are many parks everywhere, and it doesn't cost you anything to use a park. So make sure you know your local shops and the parks and where they are located. Next thing I would recommend is buy some personal care items. So when I mean personal care items, they are stuff such as roll-on antiperspirant, sunscreen, Vaseline or moisturizing cream, etc., that you need for your personal well-being. I would say the most important item on the list is the sunscreen. Especially when you go out in the sun, you should always use sunscreen. And just to tell you a personal experience, when I was very new in Australia and I wanted to go to the beach. Like that was my first time going to a beach on a very sunny day. And one of my acquaintances recommended that I should put sunscreen on. I actually thought I'm brown and naturally tanned, so nothing will happen to me. But I was absolutely wrong. I had a very bad sunburn. So make sure you always have sunscreen on. And if it is too sunny, if it is too hot, use an umbrella or use a hat. So, and always carry a bottle of water, especially when you go out. Another thing that is helpful is wear a pair of sunglasses during the day, because the weather can give you many unpleasant surprises here. You can buy sunglasses with ultraviolet protection or UV protection from any retail shop. So the price ranges vary, but because you are a student, you probably don't need to spend too much. Like if you are like me, when I was a student, I used to buy those from Kmart, where it wouldn't cost me much, but I would still get good quality ultraviolet protection sunglasses. I used to buy those, and problems of dry skin and dry lips are very common. So you use Vaseline or any other moisturizing cream to look after your skin. In terms of health issues, you should also know where your local hospital and your local GP practice are. All human beings fall sick, and once you fall sick, you have to just manage it. So make sure you know the location of your local hospital. For medical issues that are not so severe, for example, if you just have some sort of sickness but it's not very severe, you will seek the guidance from a GP or general practitioner. Now, general practitioners are basically, in many countries I know, they are referred to as family physicians. They are very important in the Australian healthcare system. So they are your first point of contact if you need any medical advice. And if any specialist appointment is necessary, you cannot actually see a specialist without a referral from a GP here. So know the locations of your closest hospital and GP practice. Another thing you should consider is having a driver license. Now, many of you might raise your eyebrows saying, hang on, I am here only to do my studies. I have never driven before, nor do I plan to drive. Why do I need a driver license? It's a good question, no doubt. Now, in Australia, there will be many occasions and many venues where you might be required to produce your identification. For example, when you go to the bank, or if you go to a pub, or if you go to an event venue, or even if you are stopped by the police, they will ask for some sort of identification with your photograph on it. Now, it's probably not a very safe thing to always carry your passport on you. In case you lose it inadvertently, it's a big trouble for you. So what you can do is you can get a driver license, and if you don't plan to drive, that's fine. You can get a learner license. Now, I live in New South Wales, so for me, the issuing authority, or any one of you who would live in New South Wales, the issuing authority would be Service New South Wales. If you check their website, you can find out what's the process for applying a driver license. Now, when I was new to Australia, the system was I would have to go there with my passport and a copy of my bank statement displaying my address, and then I had to take a test, an online knowledge test. Once it was done, they took a photograph and they issued me learner license. I have actually, for your advantage, added some links in the description section where you can see which address. Like for example, if you are in Victoria, you have to approach Vic Roads. So having a driver license is a good form of identification that you can carry easily. It will cost you something, but it is worth having it. And depending on which state you live in, you need to contact that agency. It's very easy. It's one of the good things in Australia. Public service normally is very efficient. Now, another thing is you can do some cooking, like you can practice cooking. And I'm sure most of you have left your family home for the first time and have never done any cooking. Now, cooking is a good way to spend your time. You will see your flatmates may not always be at home. Everyone is busy in their own way. So cooking will keep yourself busy. You can, one of the ways to learn cooking is you can check some videos on YouTube, Or what I used to do, like I used to call my mom and ask for her recipes and how I could cook. That used to give me a good opportunity to talk to my mom, and obviously everybody feels happy when they talk to their mom and they get the best recipes from their moms. So try some cooking. And one thing I would like to alert you, whenever you are cooking, please make sure that you follow all the safety rules, especially in terms of electric stove or gas stove, or know where your fire alarms are, because safety is very important. Last but not the least, I would say is prepare a routine. When you prepare a routine, put the most significant part of your emphasis on your studies. Obviously, you are here for higher studies, so studies should be your most important part. In addition to this, keep some time for entertainment, and entertainment doesn't mean just binging on being a couch potato and binging on Netflix. You can go out for a walk, you can go for exercise, you can go for a run along the beach, you can hang out with friends. So those are very important, like your well-being, and make sure that you follow your routine. And another thing, even though your classes might not have just started, I would strongly recommend that collect some of your textbooks, start reading them. It's an adult educational environment, so you do not expect everything to be spoon-fed by your professor. If you don't understand anything, that is fine, but take note of those difficult issues. So you can talk to your professor when the classes begin, or you can talk to your friends. You must have heard that saying that two brains are always smarter than one. So if you cannot sort out anything difficult on your textbook, I'm sure when you will talk to other people, even a friend who is doing the same course as yours, this might be helpful. Now, before I finish, I would like to tell you one thing. I have actually created a checklist for you. It is available in the article that will be available in the description section of the video. You can download it and you can follow this. I have done it to make it easy for you, because you may not want to take notes all the time listening to me. So I wanted to give you a pleasant experience. In addition to this current video, I am working on producing some more videos for international students like you, especially whether you want to work or whether it's a good decision to work part-time. And if you decide to work, how to look for a job, what sort of financial matters you need to know, what sort of industrial relations issues you need to know, in general, what you should do while you are studying in Australia. That's why I actually recommend that you subscribe to my channel. That way we can always be in touch. And after this, I also plan to upload some more videos, especially around how you can work around improving your English. There is nothing wrong in it, because a lot of us are from background, like English is not first language for many of us. Like for me, definitely English is not my first language. So I thought I would share some tips that you might find helpful. And last but not the least, I hope you have found this video helpful. Please leave a comment letting me know how you have found it, and if you think there is any room for improvement for me. Thanks for watching. Have a nice stay in Australia.